Hello everyone, this is the fourth and last video of atomic structure and chemical bonding, and in this lecture we will discuss the second part, that is chemical bonding. In previous three videos we have discussed atomic structure, and in Dalton's atomic theory we have studied that atoms of same or different elements combine together and they form molecules. But there was a limitation of Dalton's atomic theory, that he could not explain why the atoms combine and form the molecules. So in this video we will discuss first that why the atoms combine to form the molecules, or you can say that is the reason for the chemical activity of an atom. Why an atom is chemically active. Chemically active means the atom combines chemically with other atoms and form molecules. So the reason behind the chemical activity of an atom is the tendency to have stability, tendency for stability. So what does it says? It says that every atom has the tendency to achieve stability. Every atom wants to become stable. So because every atom wants to become stable, therefore the atoms of same or different element combine and form the molecules. In the form of molecules, the atoms of most of the elements are stable. Now from here second question arises, that why the atoms of same or different elements are stable in a molecule. So the reason is noble gas electronic configuration. So it says that an atom becomes stable when it has the electronic configuration of a noble gas, or electronic configuration similar to a noble gas. Now what are noble gases? Noble gases are those whose outermost shell has 2 electrons or 8 electrons. If it is first shell, then it should have 2 electrons, otherwise it has 8 electrons. For example, helium. So what is the electronic configuration of helium? That is 2. Or you can say neon. So what is the electronic configuration of neon? It is 2 8. Its atomic number is 10. Then argon, that is 2 8 8. Then it is krypton. Its electronic configuration is 2 8 18 8. So these elements are called noble gases. Similarly, there are xenon and radon, etc. So these gases are called noble gases. So you can see first shell can have maximum 2 electrons, and other than first shell, the outermost shell of any atom can have maximum 8 electrons. So you can say that their outermost shell contain 8 electrons except the first shell. So if any atom has 8 electrons in its outermost shell, then it is said to be stable, then it will become stable. So there is octet rule which says that in order to achieve stability, every atom should have 8 electrons in its outermost shell except that of first shell. First shell should have 2 electrons in it, but other than the first shell, every atom should have 8 electrons in its outermost shell. Only then it can become stable. So from the octet rule we can see that the atom reacts to form the molecules. Now you know that not every atom has 8 electrons in its outermost shell. For example, if I talk about sodium, so what is the electronic configuration of sodium? That is 2 8 1. So first shell has 2 electrons, second 8, but the outermost shell has only 1 electron. Similarly, if I talk about calcium, so it is 2 8 8 2. Its outermost shell has 2 electrons. Similarly, chlorine has 2 8 7. So its outermost shell has 7 electrons. So you can see that most of the electrons except those of noble gases, no elements have 8 electrons in their outermost shell. So how do they complete 8 electrons in its outermost shell? By gaining or losing electrons, or by sharing of electrons. So these are two processes by which an atom can have 8 electrons in its outermost shell. So you have to understand this phenomenon, because every atom wants to become stable. And how does an atom become stable? When it has the electronic configuration similar to a noble gas, means it should have 8 electrons in its outermost shell. But because not every atom has 8 electrons in its outermost shell, so what do the atoms of different elements do? They either gain or lose the electrons, means transfer the electrons. That is also called transferring of electrons. So transfer of electrons, or they share the electrons. So by transferring the electrons or by sharing the electrons, they can have 8 electrons in their outermost shell, and that is how they become stable. Now, in order to gain or lose the electrons, means in order to transfer the electrons or in order to share the electrons, there should be a contact, there should be a combination of atoms, and that's why the atoms are chemically active and combine to form the molecules. So hope you have understood why the atoms combine chemically to form the molecules. Now we have discussed the octet rule. What does the octet rule say? Octet rule says that in order to achieve stability, every atom should have 8 electrons in its outermost shell. First shell is an exception. First shell should have 2 electrons to have the stability. Now the next topic that we are going to discuss, that is chemical bond and chemical bonding. Now what is chemical bond? Chemical bond is the force of attraction which is responsible to hold 2 or more atoms in a stable molecule. For example, we have nitrogen molecule. The formula of nitrogen is N2. Similarly, the formula of water is H2O. So you can see that there are 2 atoms of nitrogen, there are 2 atoms of hydrogen and 1 atom of oxygen in water molecule. So these atoms are combined by a force of attraction, and this force of attraction is called chemical bond. And this phenomenon, the phenomenon of formation of chemical bond, is known as chemical bonding. So hope you have understood what is the meaning of chemical bond and what is the meaning of chemical bonding. Chemical bond is a force which is responsible to hold 2 or more atoms in a stable molecule. And chemical bonding is the phenomenon of formation of chemical bond. Now we have divided the chemical bonds in 2 types. The first chemical bond is called electrovalent bond and the second is called covalent bond. So there are basically 2 types of chemical bond. One is electrovalent bond and other is covalent bond. So how do we differentiate between covalent and electrovalent bond? In covalent bond there is transfer of electrons, because we have discussed that there is either transfer of electrons or sharing of electrons in order to achieve stability. So if a chemical bond is formed by transfer of electrons, then it will be called electrovalent bond. So you have to remember, in electrovalent bond there is transfer of electrons. So transfer means either gain of electrons or loss of electrons. One atom will lose the electron, other may gain the electrons. And in case of covalent bond, the covalent bonds are the chemical bonds which are formed by sharing of electrons. So if the chemical bonds are formed by sharing of electrons, these are called covalent bonds. So hope you have understood what is the difference between electrovalent and chemical bond. Now since we were talking about the chemical bond, and I told you that chemical bond is a force which is responsible for holding 2 or more atoms in a stable molecule. So the question is, how does that force come in account? What do we know about this force? So let's discuss in case of electrovalent and covalent bond both. So first we will discuss about electrovalent bond. So let's take an example by which we can understand the formation of electrovalent bond. So there is a compound in which there is an electrovalent bond, that is NaCl or sodium chloride. So as you know that sodium atom, what is the electronic configuration of sodium atom? That is 281, because it has 11 electrons in its outermost shell. Similarly, chlorine has the electronic configuration of 287. Now you can see here the outermost shell of sodium atom has 1 electron, while the outermost shell of chlorine atom has 7 electrons. So if you will form the orbit diagram of sodium, it will be like this. It will be nucleus. So nucleus have 11 proton and 12 neutron, because its mass number is 23. Then the first shell will have 2 electrons. The second shell of sodium will have 8 electrons, and the third cell of sodium will have only 1 electron. So this is representing sodium atom. So this is sodium atom. Now the next is chlorine atom. So the next one is chlorine atom. So chlorine atom has 17 proton, 2 electrons in its. The second shell has 8 electrons, and the third shell has 7 electrons. 1 2 3 4 5 6 and 7. So the third shell has 7 electrons. Now you can see that sodium atom and chlorine atom both need to become stable. So what will happen? Sodium atom will lose 1 electron, because it has only 1 electron in its outermost shell. So if sodium atom loses 1 electron, it will become a positive ion, because the charge of electron is negative. So it will lose negative charge and will become slightly positive. And this electron is gained by chlorine. So chlorine atom gains an electron and will form chloride ion. So this is how the sodium atom loses an electron and gives to chlorine atom, and due to which, what is the electronic configuration of sodium ion now? Because it has already lost 1 electron, so its electronic configuration now is 28. And chloride ion has gained 1 electron, so it was 287, now it has 1 more electron, so it will become 288. Now we can see the outermost shell of both have 8 electrons each. It means both are stable now. So the question is, if sodium ion and chloride ion both are stable, why do they have to combine to form a compound? They can stay as it is in the form of sodium and chloride ion, because they are already stable now. But there is a problem that sodium ion has positive ion while chloride ion has negative ion. So since you know that the positive and negative ions means the positive and negative charge, opposite charges, attract each other. So sodium ion and chloride ion will attract each other and they will form a compound, that is sodium chloride. Now since the force of attraction between two charges, positive and negative charges, so this force of attraction is called electrostatic force of attraction. So what is the force of attraction responsible for electrovalent bond? That is electrostatic force of attraction. So here in electrovalent bond, the force which is responsible is electrostatic force of attraction, and that's how it is called electrovalent bond. Now electrovalent bond is known by one more name, that is ionic bond. Again the question is why it is called ionic bond? Because it is formed due to ions. It is formed by ions, positive and negative ions. So the positive and negative ions combine to form a compound. Therefore it is also called ionic bond. So hope electrovalent bond is clear to you. Let's see what happens when the electrons are given. So you know that one electron will be lost by sodium atom. So what will happen? As you know, it is nucleus, then first shell has 2 electrons, then second shell has 8 electrons. Now it does not have third shell now, because the third shell has vanished because 1 electron has been lost. So this is sodium ion, and for chloride ion. For chloride ion there is, so it will become positive in charge. Similarly, chloride ion will have 2 electrons in first shell, 8 electrons in second shell, and 8 electrons in third shell. So it will be like this. So hope you have understood the concept of formation of ionic bond. So now it is sodium ion, it is chloride ion, and sodium and chloride ion will combine together to form sodium chloride. So hope you have understood this topic. Similarly, it happens in case of other ionic compounds like magnesium oxide, calcium oxide, magnesium chloride, calcium chloride, and so on. So let's see one more example. Magnesium chloride is also an ionic compound or an electrovalent compound. The formula of magnesium chloride is MgCl2. So you know that what is the electronic configuration of magnesium? The electronic configuration of magnesium is 282. Atomic number 12, electronic configuration is 282. Similarly, electronic configuration of chlorine, that is 287. Now you can see that magnesium has 2 electrons in its outermost shell, while chlorine has 7 electrons in its outermost shell. So chlorine requires only 1 electron, while magnesium can lose 2 electrons. So therefore there will be 2 chlorine atoms. They will gain 1 electron each from the magnesium. So because magnesium has 2 electrons, magnesium will give 1 electron to 1 chlorine atom and other electron to other chlorine atom. So what will be the chemical structure or orbit diagram for magnesium chloride? Let's see. So first of all we have the chlorine atom. So this is the nucleus of chlorine atom. First shell has 2 electrons, second has 8, and third shell has 7 electrons. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. Similarly, it will combine with magnesium. So magnesium, it is the nucleus of magnesium. So first shell has 2 electrons, second shell has 8 electrons, while third shell has only 2 electrons. Now it will combine with one more chlorine atom which has 2 electrons in first shell, 8 electrons in second shell, and 7 electrons in third shell. So this is one chlorine atom, this is magnesium atom, and this is other chlorine atom. So you know that chlorine require only 1 electron. So magnesium will give 1 electron to one chlorine atom and one more electron to other chlorine atom. So after losing 2 electrons, magnesium will become Mg2 plus ion and it will lose 2 electrons, while 2 chlorine atoms will gain 2 electrons and will form 2 chloride ions. And now these magnesium and 2 chloride ions will combine to form magnesium chloride, which is an ionic compound. So let's see what happened. So the chlorine atoms, will gain the electrons. So the electronic configuration, after gaining the electron, it will become 288 because they both have gained 1 electron, while the electronic configuration of magnesium, because it has lost 2 electrons, so it will become 28 only. So it will have 8 electrons in its outermost shell. So it will be chloride ion. So this is chloride ion. Similarly, it will have magnesium ion, Mg2 plus ion. So Mg2 plus ion will have only 2 shells. First shell will have 2 electrons, while second shell will have 8 electrons. So magnesium ion now will have only 2 shells. So it will be Mg2 plus ion. So it will have plus 2 charge. Now the third is chloride ion. So it will have 3 shell. First shell 2 electrons, second shell 8 electrons, and third shell 8 electrons. So this is the structure of magnesium chloride. So this is chloride ion and this is magnesium chloride. So hope you have understood how the ionic compounds are formed and how the electrovalent bonds are formed. The next is covalent bond. So we will see some examples of covalent bonds. For example, in case of hydrogen molecule. So you know that hydrogen has the electronic configuration. The electronic configuration of hydrogen is 1 because it has only 1 electrons in its shell. So hydrogen atom. The hydrogen atom is being shown by a structure which is called Lewis dot structure. So in Lewis dot structure, we only show the electrons present in outermost shell. So the electrons present in inner shells are not shown. So hydrogen has 1 electron in its outermost shell, plus it combines with other hydrogen atoms. So other hydrogen atom will also have 1 electron in its outermost shell. It has only 1 shell. So these two will combine and they will form hydrogen molecules. So hydrogen atom will combine with other hydrogen atom and this is how they form a hydrogen molecule. So hope you have understood. So two hydrogen atoms will combine to form hydrogen molecules. Now these 2 electrons are shared by these 2 hydrogen atoms. So this is how a covalent bond is formed, by sharing of electrons. Now they will combine due to sharing of electrons. So therefore this bond is called covalent bond. The next example of covalent bond is case of water molecules. So let's see what happens in case of water molecules. So you know that electronic configuration of hydrogen is 1. So we don't have to write it again. Electronic configuration of oxygen. Oxygen has atomic number 8. So its electronic configuration is 2, 6. So if we will form hydrogen, so you know that hydrogen requires 1 electron because it has 1 electron in its shell, while oxygen requires 2 electrons because it has 6 electrons. So if it will get 2 more electrons, it will have 8 electrons. So in order to achieve the stability, it should have 8 electrons in its outermost shell. So what will happen? Suppose this is hydrogen atom. Now there is an oxygen atom. So oxygen atom has 6 electrons. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then there is another hydrogen atom. So another hydrogen atom will also have 1 electron. So the electrons of hydrogen are shown by cross, while the electrons of oxygen are shown by dots, so that we can differentiate between hydrogen and oxygen. So you know that hydrogen require 1 electron while oxygen require 2 electrons. So hydrogen will share its 1 electron with oxygen and oxygen will share its 1 electron. So they will share these 2 electrons. Similarly, oxygen will share its 1 electron with another hydrogen atom. So what will happen? In this way, they will be able to form a bond because in its outermost shell, it has 1 electron of oxygen, then 1 electron of hydrogen. So hydrogen got 2 electrons. Similarly, oxygen will share 1 electron with this hydrogen. So there is 1 electron of oxygen and 1 electron of hydrogen. So hydrogen has completed its electrons. So now oxygen has 2 pairs of unshared electrons and oxygen will also complete its electron because it has 6 electrons in outermost shell and it will get 2 electrons from 2 different hydrogen atoms. So this is how water molecule is formed. So hope you have understood the concept of chemical bonding. Now, how do we decide that if 2 atoms combine to form electrovalent bond or covalent bond? So we can find whether it is possible to form a covalent bond or electrovalent bond by combining 2 atoms. So generally, when a covalent bond is formed, the covalent bond is formed between 2 non-metals. So covalent bonds are generally formed between non-metals. So if one non-metal will combine with other non-metal, or if the atoms of 2 non-metals combine together, they will form covalent bond. But if the atoms of metal combine with atoms of non-metals, then they will form electrovalent bonds. So remember, metal and non-metal combine to form electrovalent bonds. So there is a way by which you can find out whether two atoms combine together to form a covalent bond or electrovalent bonds. For example, in case of hydrogen, H2, two hydrogen atoms, hydrogen is non-metal, so it will form covalent bond. Similarly, water, so hydrogen is non-metal, oxygen is non-metal, so there will be a covalent bond. In case of sodium chloride, sodium is metal, chlorine is non-metal, so the bond formed is electrovalent bond. Magnesium chloride, magnesium is metal, chlorine non-metal, so it is electrovalent bond. Calcium oxide, calcium is metal, oxygen non-metal, electrovalent bond. In case of methane, the formula of methane is CH4. So CH4 will form covalent bond because carbon is a non-metal as well as hydrogen is a non-metal. So this is how we can predict whether two atoms will form a covalent bond or electrovalent bond when they combine. So there is a question for you. Please answer in the comment box. Find out whether these compounds are covalent or electrovalent compounds. So you know that if a compound is formed by electrovalent bond, then this compound will be called electrovalent compound. For example, sodium chloride, magnesium chloride, these are electrovalent compounds. And if the compound is formed due to formation of covalent bonds, then it will be called covalent compounds. So find out whether these compounds are electrovalent or covalent compound. First is CCl4. Please also write the name of these compounds. CCl4, then you have MgO, then you have SO2, then you have PbCl2 and CuO and HCl. So let me know whether these compounds are electrovalent or covalent in nature. So this is all in this chapter. If you have any queries, please ask the question in the comment box and also answer these questions. Write the name of these compounds as well as whether they are covalent or electrovalent compounds. Thank you very much.